Welcome to Traveling Light, where I take you along on my adventures and share some photographic insights as I go along. Now, I've been a photographer all my life, professional and otherwise, and one thing I love is photography. In this series, I want to firstly have fun, and secondly, learn something new. The focus is on the camera and what it can do. In the last episode, the second in this series, I took my brand new Kodak Charmera to the beachfront for its first proper field trip. The results were disappointing. Clearly this camera is a bit of a vampire. It just doesn't like bright sunlight or high contrast. Today, I want to check out the 4 embedded frames. By embedded, I mean if you select a frame on the camera, the image you take will have that frame. It sounds like a fun thing, so I want to check them all out. Before we begin, I want to say this up front. I'm not sponsored by Kodak in any shape or form, or by anyone else to be honest. I paid for this camera. So, where are we off to today? Today, I've chosen another major Durban location. We're off to the Point, and specifically the Point Waterfront. I'm going to park near the harbour entrance and stroll up Canal Walk to uShaka Marine World. My plan is to shoot what comes my way as I go along. Bear in mind, I'm testing the built-in frames, so I'll cycle through them one by one. Well, we're here, and I'm ready to get cracking. Same ground rules as last time. No cropping and no color correction. When we assess, I'll show you the images as shot. Note to self, avoid bright conditions. The buildings, the canal and the trees make for a pretty cool subject all by themselves, and then you can throw in the reflections. It's a beautiful day to be out doing some photography, and other people are out and about having fun too. There really is no shortage of subjects, and soon we'll be coming up to uShaka Marine World itself. We'll assess all of the images in one go later. For now, they're a surprise, so let's keep on going. uShaka is not only a mini mall, it's a theme park and an aquarium, and many other things too. If you're in Durban, you just have to pay it a visit. A big feature is this landlocked ship, built from the ground up, mind you. Spoiler alert, it's not really an actual ship, but it's a great spot to take some pictures. Oh no, what's going on here? It's locked. Long story short, it's closed down. At least the upper deck is. What a pity. That's sad. I hope it's not permanent. I'll just have to shoot what I can at ground level. That also doesn't mean I'm faced with a lack of options. It's pretty easy to pivot. There are just so many little details I can capture. They really did a spectacular job. I'm taking an amble through the mall. I guess you could call it the retail section. There are plenty of fun things to shoot. Besides shopping, you can see all sorts of eye-catching installations and attractions. If you're in this neck of the woods, make sure you come down here and check it out. Well, we're almost done with today's expedition and we're nearly back at the car. It's been a fun day of shooting and I'm hoping I've got some cool images in the bag. We'll see. There you go, that's what you call the parting shot. Now we can get back, load the images, and then we can see what we've got. I can't wait. Here we go, time to assess. Let's take a look at the frames one by one. First up, this one has got a film negative or positive look. I'll admit that I like it. It's pretty authentic and it has got a cool look and feel. Maybe that means I'm old. This one looks like an old school PC editing software environment. Did they have something like this in the 80s? When did Windows actually come out? I looked it up, and I guess this one is spot on, time-wise. Windows was there from 1985 on. Who would have thought? This one's got pixel hearts, starbursts, and charmeras, and look, those are little rolls of film. It's pretty funky, I guess. I can see this one being quite popular. Let's take a look at the final one. Okay, this one is 99% Charmera with a tiny space for an image. I'd have to have something very specific in mind if I wanted to deploy this one. For me, I feel like the frame is stealing the show. But hey, we live in a world where we all have different opinions. My choice would be first, the film one, followed in second place by the funky pixel-based one with the film rolls. The PC-style one comes in third place, with the Charmera back coming in last. They all have a look and they are all pretty intentional. Presentation-wise, I wouldn't say any one of them is bad. Which one is your favorite? The film one, the funky one, the Windows PC, or the Charmera? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so now we can assess the actual images. Composition-wise, this one's not too bad. A small improvement would have been a bit up and a bit to the right to cut out the stray palm trees on the left and include the top of the one in the middle. An acceptable media shot. The diagonals of the canal and walkway do help lead the eye through the frame. Technically, it seems a little out of focus towards the background, which is a bit of a puzzle. I'm going to have to watch that. I'm not sure about this one, and the rule is, if there's doubt, there can be no doubt. So I'm going to class this one as a fail. The framing feels slightly cramped, and nothing really anchors the eye. My plan is to choose the best one showcasing each frame and go for a top 4. Those I'll post on Instagram. My timing was out by a whisker, and it's ever so slightly overexposed. This camera really doesn't like sunlight. Compositionally, the top-down perspective nearly worked, but not quite. That near miss on a few levels means it too is a fail. Moving on. Now this one I like. The composition is spot on. The buildings are nicely balanced and the lines feel very purposeful. I wish it was a little sharper, although maybe that's the Charmera's posterized look. Not too bad, so win. Next. An opportunistic picture, and it could have been better on so many levels. Once again, bright light is the enemy. The framing feels reactive rather than deliberate. I didn't quite get what I was after. This one's a clear fail. Overexposed and washed out. The grass isn't even green. The scene lacks contrast and a clear focal point. Next one. I was trying out the Dutch angle by tipping the horizon. I think this image would be improved if I included more foreground and didn't include the sky. The diagonal is strong, but without the foreground to give it weight, it feels unbalanced. A fail. Now here's a lot to like, even though there are some little flaws. The small image area in this frame is growing on me. It forces me to deploy minimalism. The tight crop creates a natural frame within a frame, which simplifies things nicely. A good one. Moving on. This one is okay, although borderline overexposed. A good media shot composition-wise. There's enough negative space to carry text comfortably, which is always useful. If you're shooting for commercial illustration, it's always good to leave some real estate for text. This one is good. It's got strong diagonals and tells a story. The lines guide the eye through the composition. This one's a keeper, even though it's got a few minor flaws. Next one. I just couldn't resist. In the last episode I tried a shot just like this, and it was a fail. I had to try for another. And this time I got it right. The silhouette sits cleanly against the background, and the contrast does the heavy lifting. Shadows can be a powerful subject. They can convey volumes. As a photographer, I'm personally partial to shadows and reflections, so you'll see more of that in the future. This one's a goodie. This little letterbox composition has really grown on me. The horizontal framing simplifies the subject beautifully. I can't see myself using the frame practically in the future, but it does force me to keep it simple and frame it well. The best one, I think, with this frame so far. A win. I'll take it. It's funny how the Charmera posterized look seems to be missing here. I'm pondering why. Compositionally, the bold shapes and mid-range distance suit the camera well. One thing I can say I've learned so far is the Charmera is happiest shooting fairly bold subjects which are, I'd say, between a meter and maybe 3 or 4 meters away. It's the Charmera's happy place. I can see why it's popular on social media as a party camera. Lesson learned, centered in the viewfinder doesn't mean centered in the frame. Note to self. The symmetry almost works, but it's just slightly off. Otherwise, okay, and it does have a structured look and feel. Megalodon teeth. I was wondering if I'd get away with taking this shot in bright sunlight, and I did. The repetition creates a strong pattern which helps keep the composition together. There are a few blown out bits, but in this case I think they add rather than subtract. I like it. I like this one too, and it backs up what I was saying earlier. The Charmera's comfort zone is from around a meter to probably 2 or 3, maybe 4. This one was just under a meter. I really like that it includes the word Durban. It's a good publicity shot. Professionally, you can leverage things like that, so look out for that. Again, the sweet spot distance-wise and a good image from a technical perspective. The subject is isolated nicely against the water, which keeps it readable. In a perfect world, I could have taken this shot from much higher, but I don't think the goose would have stuck around. Real-life shooting dishes up constraints. This one is flawed technically, but I really like the composition. especially the little boy trailing his hand in the water. The human element anchors it and gives it narrative weight. This image tells a story, and it's a good example of an image where the subject is doing something. It's a priceless tactic when photographing wildlife especially. Instead of a shot of the animal just standing, wait. Sooner or later it'll do something, and that's when you get the shot. Again, a good example of the Charmera's sweet spot distance-wise. I shot this from just under a meter away. The sign creates strong intersecting diagonals and a clear focal point. The bold shapes and limited depth work in its favor. Don't shoot in bright light, shoot big bold subjects in the near distance. That's the Charmera formula for success, I'd say. Let's look at the last one, the parting shot. Composition-wise, it's great, but technically, it's a fail. And it backs up what I just said. Avoid long distances and bright conditions. So that's a wrap. Now I have to choose my favorite one using each frame. Some are easier than others. Which one is your favorite? I'll give you my favorite for each frame, one by one. First up, the film frame, and my choice would be the Egyptian goose. For the 1980s Windows PC software frame, I'll choose this one, the image of the lifeboat on the ship. For the funky pixel frame, this one was hard, but I'll choose the street signs. Technically, it's head and shoulders above the rest. For the final frame, the letterbox Charmera, and this one was even harder. I think this one. It's got a minimalist look which I like. I hope you enjoyed coming along for the ride, and please let me know which one is your favorite frame and your favorite image. So, what lies ahead? Well, the Charmera is clearly a toy, not a tool, but that's not necessarily bad. Toys are there to enjoy, and I can now just relax and have fun. I think 4 more episodes lie ahead. I want to do one testing the Charmera's video, and then 2 more testing the embedded filters. One covering warm, cool, and regular black and white, the other covering the 4 pixel effects, red, blue, yellow, plus another black and white. For a final episode, I'll go for something really special and try to leverage everything I've learned about this little camera. Then that's it for the Charmera, and a new camera will be next. I've got my eye on 1 or 2 options, but nothing's decided yet. So there you are, my favorite image taken with each embedded frame. I'm learning and I'm having fun, so I think it's a win. We'll wrap up the remaining Charmera tests in no particular order. Well, we're done for this week, so that's it for this episode. Spot you next time. Over and out.